Hello guys, welcome to my podcast about the story how I moved to the Florida 3 years ago. And it is gonna be very short. I just want to share with you my story and ups and downs. I moved from New York. I lived in New York for 3 years, and before I lived in another country in Russia. And in the introduction, I just want to say thank you for watching my video, and it really means a lot to me. I just graduated with business degree Palm Beach State College, and it was amazing. And honestly, I love living in Florida. It has pros and cons, but honestly, I get used to it. I used to this beautiful style, slow style of living. I usually wake up at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and slowly I work a little bit from my house, and I do different small things which are really important for me. And honestly, I noticed how many people recently started to think about life in Florida, and I always get a lot of questions like, Taisia, do you recommend to move to Florida from New York, from California, and I honestly think that you should consider that, but you should know about pros and cons to live in Florida because it can be a little bit too slow. It doesn't have specific history. It's not as interesting to live there. Even though I go to different conferences out of state, I go conferences inside of Florida, I ride horses, I play golf, like I do snorkeling. Like recently I got to Boston for Red Reef snorkeling, and it is just different. Life is very different. Forget about your life in California, in like New Mexico, Texas, like where are you from? I know you can write in commenting sections where exactly you're from. But in my experience, I lived in nice, large cities like New York, or in Russia, I used to live in Vladivostok, which is not large town, but it is a huge port in Russia, right next to Japan, Korea, China, and so it is very specific when you feel that vibe of a large town. And now I live in Palm Beach, in a very like simple small town. Yes, there are a lot of people and there are a lot of money here, but at the same time it is more like laid back, relaxing beach town. People ride bikes, people go fishing, kayakings, everybody dressed up super casually, like simple top, skirt, go to the beach. Today is my first episode of Florida Girl Vibe podcast, and I'm very excited that you joined me. I do have my YouTube channel already for a very long time, and I'm so excited to finally sit down and share my personal story of how I moved to Florida and what this journey has meant to me. And it meant a lot. I had to change my life completely when I moved to Florida. My lifestyle, my outfits, my car, like I had to change everything. And now it is hot summer, it is July, and it is so hot outside that sometimes I feel overwhelmed. Sometimes I feel depressed. It is very hard when you sit down in your car and it is so hot that it is unbearable. First time in my life, I had like a pain in my heart for a week or two. Every day I will wake up, was waking up with a sharp pain in my heart. It was terrible. It's just like people don't talk about that. They think that if you move to Florida, it is only like beautiful beaches with palms. There are negative things, negative sides. And I'm very happy that I gave you this quick intro about myself, that I'm 32 years old. I moved from Russia, from Vladivostok. I always stay there on a tourist visa. So I went to language school in New York. Then I graduated, got a degree in business from Palm Beach State College, and I was always a student. And right now I applied for a work visa. So right now I'm waiting if it's going to be declined or if it's going to be approved, and I have to work. Considering like my business education, I will have to work a company. And I do have my YouTube channel already for a long time, for a couple of years, but I usually just post anything that is happening to me, like how I play golf, how I go snorkeling, how my life is going, just like basic Florida stuff. And now I have some time to share with you my everyday routine, what's going on with my life, and how life in Florida impact me, and what is my channel about. Just I have some time between my graduation and my work search, so I'm waiting for my visa to get approved, work visa. And I'm very happy to start this podcasting so I can share with you my connection, how I connect to Florida, and so we can connect on a deeper level and share each other's stories about life in Florida, about your self growth in Florida, or how your life changed. And maybe I will interview some people who live in Florida. Maybe I will record some. I plan to go zoo, I plan to go different places to just question people and maybe just show you if you should move here. I think it is very important. And before I moved to Florida, I was watching different podcasts and just YouTube videos of different people, how they live in Florida, because you want to get that energy and understand if you like it or not. The same as before I moved to New York, I was watching non-stop different like flights above New York. I was dreaming about living in New York. And honestly, I didn't like my life in New York. I had to move out of that city, and I still love New York, but I will never come back. I can't even if how can it be possible to New York, because there are so many people. It is too dirty. Like Manhattan is terrible dirty. It is not romantic for me anymore. So I think it is very important to share with you where I lived before and the style of my life and the weather. So in Vladivostok, there were 4 seasons, and lifestyle is very interesting, cultural, laid back, small city, 500,000 population, but at the same time very outgoing. And there are a lot of Asian people from China, Korea, Japan. We love them a lot, and I felt like I wanted something new, so I decided to go New York because I wanted something bigger and to explore a new town, because I lived in Vladivostok for 20 years. And it was very funny, it was very emotional, that decision, it came into my mind, and I was very vulnerable. I thought, like, what if my life is gonna go another direction? Like, it's a very hard choice, where do you want to live? But for me, I just knew that I want to live in New York, and I moved to New York. And now I didn't like New York anymore, and I remember that feeling that I have to decide where I'm gonna study in college. And Florida college was the cheapest one for me compared to New York colleges. And that's how I decided. It was like a light bulb in my head, the moment when I knew I had to move to Florida, because I was done with homeless people. I was attacked 2 times, one time in subway, and like one homeless person just grabbed my bag and tried to get out, and train was going, so I was so scared. I almost started to cry. And as soon as we stopped at my station, I saw police, so they already gathered information about him and everything. In another situation, when I just saw how homeless person was just attacking people around him, he was pushing people around, attacking them, and he pushed one girl to the rails, and she died eventually. She was Asian, nice lady. And that is when I decided, it was my fear, it was my doubt. I was like, I don't want to live there anymore. And I decided to move to Florida. And my preparation for the move was like for a long time, maybe for a year. I was thinking about it, visualizing it, packing, saving some money, saying goodbye to everybody, broke up with some people I didn't want to hang out with anymore. And there were a lot of challenges for me, and I but I knew that I have to get education. It was very emotional. I just basically had to drive by train. I took a train, special train where you can put your car on the train. And I was on the same train and I got to Florida and I had to drive like a couple of hours to Palm Beach here. And my first days were amazing. The weather was amazing, the beaches were amazing, my first home was great. I stayed with my friends. The local vibe is amazing, and I was just literally was just having a mimosa in the morning about my college stuff and would just drive around, enjoy my life. And I enjoyed my life. I mean, it's not like it was my wow, like I'm in New York. It was more like simple and plain. I knew that this is my new home. But it was very calm compared to New York. And there were ups and downs, like the Florida is very hot. And if you go to the beach, not in the morning or evening, it's gonna be so hot that it is unbearable. It is like you can't even hold it anymore. It's that so hot. The fact that you don't need any extra clothes, that you can drive everywhere in a simple like summer dress, in skirt, that you always have this beautiful like sun tan, everything is just amazing. Who is gonna sponsor my